Hello, YouTube. Um, so, with all of the Hellboy unboxings that I've been doing lately, I finally decided to do something that I have thought about doing for a while now. And that is, I'm going to be talking about the upcoming Hellboy reboot, which is scheduled to hit theaters at some point this year. Hellboy: The Crooked Man. Now, this movie, um, this is going to be the second, I believe, the second reboot of Hellboy. The first uh, Hellboy. First of all, this is the fourth um, Hellboy movie that's going to be made. Hellboy 1 and 2 um, obviously starred, Ron Perlman, and then 2019, um, uh, David Harbour came in. That movie bombed, which I'll get a little bit into in a minute. Um, and now we're getting, an all new reboot. Um, but this movie has something very, very special going for it, and that is, um, this movie. They finished filming. The script is done. There's a trailer out. Um, the um, this movie or the script was written by best-selling writer and actually a good buddy of Hellboy creator Mike Mignola, Christopher Golden, who is mainly known for like horror stories. However, he also does a lot of movie tie-in books, like novelizations of like movies and stuff like that. He he writes horror. um he's a comic book fan, so he and like I said before, he's also a good buddy of Hellboy creator Mike Mignola. Um, so the script was written by him, and it was actually overseen by Mike Mignola. So they basically did the script together. Um, and now that is something that you don't really see with too many comic book films these days. I mean, it's the um, only other comic book film I can think of right now that's doing that is obviously the new Spawn movie. But other than that, there really aren't too many comic book films out there, um, where the creators are just like so heavily involved. Um, but yeah, no, like I said before, this is a reboot. Um, the 2019 Hellboy movie obviously was not successful. Um, in fact, director Neil Marshall himself completely slammed the movie, um, saying saying that it was not the movie that he wanted to make, and also it was not the movie he wanted to make, but also the main reason why that movie failed is because Lionsgate, the studio behind it, you basically had with that movie, you literally had everybody from like the studio to the producers, basically sticking their fingers in it. So, so that's pretty much why, um, why that movie failed. The I'm me personally, I'm obviously a huge fan of what Ron Perlman did, with the first two movies. I loved like his dry, sarcastic humor as as Hellboy. Um, and there are obviously people out there still saying, oh, like bring back Ron Perlman, yada yada yada, make do Hellboy 3. I'm specifically, if any of you dumbasses are watching this right now, or going to watch this, any dumbasses right now that I have gotten into it with, I'm addressing. I'm going to say this specifically to you right now. Okay, Ron Perlman is 74 years old. Okay, do you really think that he would want to sit there, and he would want to sit in a chair for 4 hours? That's how long the makeup takes. That's literally how long the makeup takes. Do you really want to sit? Do you really think he would want to sit there at his age for 4 hours straight in makeup? While they do, all the makeup and, excuse me, and all the other stuff. I mean, Ron Perlman himself said, while he thinks that, yes, they do, owe it to the fans, at the same time, he also said a Hellboy 3 at his age would kill him. And it would. It would, like those, like if you've seen the first two movies and, and the stuff that he was doing in those movies, there is no way in hell that his body could, that his body could handle it. That his body could handle it. And plus, Selma Blair, would not, given, like her, health issues these days, obviously would not even, would not even be able to, like she wouldn't even be able to do the movie. Hold on, guys, 2 seconds. I'm sorry. So, yeah, so literally the only way that a Hellboy 3 could happen, is if it were animated. That's pretty much the only way that that it could happen. And there have been actually two Hellboy animated movies in the past. But anyway, yeah, so The Crooked Man is going to be the new Hellboy movie. Is going to be the new Hellboy movie. Now, a lot of people, like I said before, there is an official trailer out right now. And a lot of the reactions are, a lot of people are like dumping on it, saying, oh, like it looks cheap. It looks, it looks cheap. It looks, it looks cheap. It looks low budget. However, in defense of that, and they're right, and like I've seen the trailer, like I watched the trailer like the day that it came out, and while I will admit, yes, it does look low budget, it's apparently something that Hellboy creator Mike Mignola wanted. I'm gonna bring up. I'm going to read to you guys. I'm going to read to you guys what he said in an interview with comicbook.com. Um, the movies, um, in fact, this interview came. Okay, yeah. So this interview was done yesterday. Um, this interview was done yesterday, and it says here the movie's going to be a very very hard R. Um, and it says here, um, and it says here the description also seems to double down on Hellboy creator Mike Mignola's tease of the film, who called it who called it a true horror movie through and through. His intention is to make a horror movie so that so that'll be nice. That'll be interesting. Mignola told Variety last year. Brian Taylor is the director of this movie. He was one of the directors of the first two Crank films. As much as I hate to bring this movie up, he was also one of the directors for Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, which was also a massive failure. However, that movie also suffered from interference with the studio. Brian Taylor himself also, has also said, no, that is, that is not how, I wanted that to go. But anyway, that's irrelevant. Okay, yeah. I read the new draft. I read the new draft of the screenplay yesterday, and yes, it is definitely R. It is the first Hellboy script that I read, and I went, that I read and went, oh, it is a horror movie, which is what I wanted. Taylor does not have a reputation as a horror movie director, but so far they've had two horror movie directors make Hellboy movies, and we've never gotten a horror movie. Um, and it also says here, he added, for years we've been saying, if you're going to make a Hellboy movie, make it small, and the perfect story, make it small. And the perfect story to do that with is my personal favorite, The Crooked Man. I think it's one of the best things I've written. It's beautifully illustrated. It's beautifully illustrated by Richard Corbin. And it is a solid story that doesn't involve a million different characters. Everybody actually agreed from the very beginning, yes, we want to do that one. We want to do that one. Budget wise, it is good because it is a lower budget kind of story. It is not the Hellboy origin. It is not. It is not Hellboy saving the world. It is not huge. It's a suitable dark little folktale. It is a that is a suitable. It is a suitable dark little folk horror story. So, um, so so I think, so I think that this is, um, so um, the way that I think they are, um, they are going about this. I think they are going about it in a way, um, they're not just, like they're not just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. Like this is genuinely something, that was planned out. It was, it was planned out. It was, like they really, like it really seems like they sat down and they went, okay, how can we, um, how can we bring this character to life and not, um, how can we bring this character to life in a way that, um, in a way that, that not only hasn't been done before, but also in a way that really speaks to, like who this character is, um, and really, that really captures like the really captures like the character in the source material, and um and those, that those are really things that you really need to capture in these kinds of movies. um in these kinds of movies. And I'm actually, um from what I understand, it's also, they have a younger actor, this time around, playing Hellboy, so it's going to be a younger, Hellboy than what we're used to seeing. And um, I'm going to pull up a picture of him now. Um, I'm going to pull up a picture of him now, of him in the makeup. And, and I mean, I get it. I mean, people are saying, oh, it looks low budget and yada, yada, yada. Um, but again, um, this is what they were aiming for. Um, this is something that was, that was obviously, very, 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 thoughtfully planned out. Mike Mignola, like you can't, not many people are going to know better than the creator. Like not many people are going to know what's best for the character, than the creator. Like, now I'm obviously not saying, that I'm obviously not saying that, that the creator, should make, every call in the book. But, but in terms of like, but, in terms of, um, but, you're adapting, when you're doing a comic book movie, you obviously have an obligation, to the creator, to the fans, to, um, I, to, to the creator, to the fans, but basically saying, you're basically, you're basically agreeing to, you know, when you sign up for something like this, you are basically saying, yes, I will do, to the best of my ability, to bring this character and, in this world to life in a way, in a way, in a way that, that makes sense, and that speaks to, the character, and, in the world that he lives in. And, um, and that is something that, and that is something that, that I think a lot of, that I think a lot of comic book, that a lot of comic book movies, suffer from these days. Marvel. But yeah, no. Um, but yeah, no, this is, you know, I, I just, I really think that people should just, should give this movie a chance. Should, should not, um, they should, I mean, yes, it does look low budget, but, but again, that's the point. It's not, this movie isn't about, having, like millions and millions of dollars and spending, all this money uh, on, the best film sets, this isn't about, spending, millions and millions of dollars on, on like actors, sets, uh, and, and all that, and, like all that other crap that goes into, um, that goes into, that goes, that normally goes into making, these kinds of movies. This is about taking, this is about, taking this character and telling, and putting him in a, and putting him in, in a movie that's, that's low budget, that is, that has, and not to mention, doing, and not to mention, doing, adapting, one of the fan favorite, Hellboy stories from the comic books. Like, I have the comic book right here, Hellboy the Crooked Man. It's a three part story, but you have wonderful artwork here from Richard Corbin, and just, beautiful art here. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if, um, I wouldn't be surprised if the reason why it's so low budget is because they really wanted to try, you know, again, I'm guessing, they wanted to try to duplicate, um, his art style. Um, but yeah, no, this is, um, and as you can see, like, it's a dark, it's a dark story. It's a dark story. It's not, um, and but yeah, no, I really think that people, should remain open, at least for now, and not, not dump on the fact that, that Hellboy looks, that he doesn't look like, how, that he doesn't look like how, like how Perlman did, or how Harbour did, or how um that he doesn't look as, um that he doesn't look as, I guess, polished as Perlman, or Harbour. um from what I understand, the movie is going to be using practical effects instead of CGI, which definitely explains, why this movie is low budget. Um, but yeah, no, but you got to understand, Mike Mignola has, Hellboy is obviously, like his baby. Like, um, Hellboy, done correctly. And again, and while I enjoyed, the Ron Perlman films, that wasn't, um that movie took, those movies took, a fair amount of liberties with, the source material, um and stuff like that. So this movie looks like it's going to be a little more, um this movie looks like it's trying to be more, like more in line with, the source material. Again, it's being based on, the Crooked Man storyline, which is a fan favorite. Um, and from what I understand, this movie is supposed to come out, I think, in the fall. No official release date has been set yet, other than the fact that it's scheduled to come out at some point this year. Um, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this. They have a lot of, um, they have a lot of, creative talent on this movie. On this movie, and it looks like that Brian Taylor. Um, It looks like, to me anyway, it looks like, that it looks like that he hopefully knows what he's doing. Because again, Mike is right. Um, Mike is right. Guillermo del Toro um, and Neil Marshall are usually known for horror movies, and those are and those were two horror directors that didn't make um, that didn't make horror movies. I can't really blame Neil Marshall for for his movie, because again, he literally had like no say at all um over what the studio um did to the movie. They basically were like, yeah, we're gonna do whatever the hell we want, and that's that. Um but yeah, no, me personally, I'm really really excited for this movie. um I'm really really excited for this movie. Again, don't, keep an open mind. If you think, just because people are saying, oh, it looks cheap and it looks low budget and yada yada yada, there's a reason for that. There's a reason why they are trying to do this on a low budget. Normally I would be worried, um that a comic book film is using such a low budget. But given Mike Mignola's reasoning for it, I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense, and I think his reasoning for it is valid. So anyway, so let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for this movie? Um, I may give another update on the movie at some point. We'll see. Um, we'll see what happens. But anyway, I will leave the trailer on my I I will see if I can leave a link for the trailer on my homepage. If not, then I will leave the trailer in the comment section, and you guys can check it out. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Are you excited? Are you looking forward to this movie? Like, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.